You're still watching Channels Television. Now, Justice Mero Mohammed of the Kaduna State High Court has issued a warrant of arrest against the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB, Dr. Mohammed Isa, for alleged contempt. The judge issued the warrant on Friday following his failure to honor several summons by the court in a suit between Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and Today's Publishing Company Limited and one other person. Justice Mohammed granted the approval based on the application filed by counsel to Today's Publishing Company Limited, publishers of the union newspapers, Mr. J.N. Egwonu S.A.N., during the continuation of defense at the previous sittings. A warrant form obtained from the court directs the police authorities to arrest the CCB chairman and produce him before the court on February 13, 2019. In its preliminary application, the publishers of the union newspaper prayed the court to subpoena the CCB chairman to produce assets declaration forms of Governor El-Rufai in court after several failed efforts it made to obtain it from the CCB. Governor El-Rufai had in July 2015 approached the Kaduna State High Court over a report carried by the union newspaper in which it allegedly stated that he had declared 90 billion naira in his CCB assets declaration form. With that story, we'll wrap up our contribution from this end. It's back to Lagos. Gimba.
Many thanks indeed, Ibrahim. The ongoing modernization of the rail transport in the country, when completed, will ease the troubles of traffic gridlock on our roads. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, made the statement while on a test run of the finished portion of the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge line alongside the Ogun State Governor, Senator Ibukun Amosu.
The challenges of traffic gridlock in the country, especially in the southwest, may be giving way for the later solution, that is, the Nigerian Railway Modernization Project, which is courtesy of the federal government. A test run is what is bringing Ogun, Lagos and Oyo State governments, the Minister of Transportation and other guests on board this train.
Gradually, we are going to be moving a lot of our goods. Imagining somebody clearing the goods from the ports, they will quickly use the rail, which is what was designed in those years. But we thank God that we are getting back to where we should be.
Fresh food will go from Abeokuta to Lagos markets in the morning and get there on time. You know, all the goods and services of my people will now move faster and cheaper.
The project, which is in collaboration with the Chinese government, will afford Nigeria the opportunity of technology transfer.
Of recent, about over 1,000 Nigerians have been sent abroad in different disciplines of engineering relating to rail to go and study in China.
The Minister of Transportation is upbeat about the prospects the project will bring to bear upon completion.
By the time they finish, in 30 minutes you'll be in Abeokuta. So all that 1 hour plus you used to do to get Abeokuta, you see, you have to pay the government for saving you time and energy and fuel.
And by the time the trip terminates at Laderi in Abeokuta, it is to the waiting arms of guests, including Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who looks forward to the gains of the project.
This is not a do or die occasion, but a do and do occasion. Congratulations to everyone involved in this enterprise. Next time round, a rocket up.
As the train gets set to leave Abeokuta for Lagos, it also throws open a 3-month window of free rides for passengers who would want to use the service.
The managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Engineer Fidelis Okiria, speaks on the availability and affordability of the service to all.
It's going to be very, 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 very affordable. And the beauty of it is that it's all for everybody, for up, medium and low income.
The coming days will definitely present interesting times for rail travel in that axis, especially with the commencement of the 3-month free ride service. An extension of this to other parts of the country will no doubt be a welcome development. Chris Illems, Channels Television News.
Some leaders of the Ohanese Ndigbo have apologized to President Muhammadu Buhari over comments made by Mr. John Wodo endorsing the candidature of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. The apology was tendered at the State House in Abuja when some leaders of the Igbo Social Cultural Group visited President Muhammadu Buhari. The Secretary General of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo says that the comments were personal views of Mr. Nwodo, whom he says has been suspended and will be probed. Correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari took a break from campaign rallies to host leaders of 4 Igbo groups at the Aso Villa.
President Muhammadu Buhari.
In their separate submissions, leaders of the groups expressed support for the president, promising to mobilize and cast their votes for him. The Secretary General of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo minces no words in explaining where his group stands.
We want to apologize to you, Mr. President, on behalf of Ndigbo, for the utterances and speeches credited to Chief John Nwodo, the suspended President General of Ohanaeze. These utterances were his personal views and opinion, and do not reflect the views and opinion of Ndigbo in Nigeria today.
Other leaders followed suit, declaring support ahead of the presidential polls.
We have come again today to do the same thing, to tell you that Igbos in the 19 northern states and Abuja are with you and have come to give you support.
We were assuring you, my title is Buruburu Igbo. Means that Igbo all over the world are here. And for us to march here from the leader of Ohanaeze by the secretary is to prove to you that the new face of Igbo land have come.
I am very impressed.
President Buhari says he is full of appreciation.
I have taken note of your request, and I want to assure you that we will do our best to address them. Once again, thank you very much for your support and prayers. Please be rest assured that my commitment to creating a peaceful, inclusive, and corruption-free Nigeria for all Nigerians remain as strong as ever.
Ohanese's apology is coming on the heels of endorsement of the PDP presidential candidate announced by Mr. John Nwodo. The guests say they believe President Buhari's second term brings the presidency closer to the southeast. Meanwhile, President Buhari also receives leaders of his support groups, including those in the diaspora.
We have registered more than 1,000, and I cannot say a specific number. So here what we did, we just selected a leader of at least 150 support groups. So if that is just one, if I have to select 2, or if I have to put all the support groups with one representation, this one will be too small.
I thank you very much.
The president thanks the groups for their selfless work in the interest of Nigeria. He regrets that in spite of huge resources, previous administrations did not build infrastructure.
This large-scale abuse of trust, only God can give the punishment, so we leave them to God. But those we can catch, we will take them before the courts and get them prosecuted.
According to the ruling party officials, up to 1,000 support groups are working for the president's second-term bid. From the presidential villa, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
Well, it's time now for business news on the news at 10 with Kayode Okikiolu.
Thank you, Kimba, and you're welcome to Business News. The central bank has rolled out an anti-money laundering and terrorism financing manual to guide the regulator and its employees on how to conduct business in accordance with the applicable laws and regulations. According to the financial market regulator, the manual seeks to establish policies, procedures, and minimum standards to protect it from being used as a channel to money laundering, terror financing, and other forms of financial crimes. The new manual sets the minimum standards for employees of the CBN to comply with the existing anti-money laundering laws in respect of conduct of financial services in their dealings with third parties such as contractors, consultants, and employees. The bulls maintained a firm grip on equities at the domestic stock market for a 6th straight session in the new month as buying sentiment continued to take center stage. Edidiong Ewang has the details.
Thank you, Kayode, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. A nice finishing touch to a roaring positive trading week at the local bourse on Friday. A gentle 0.31% was added to the composite index, taking the net value of all listed securities to 11.75 trillion naira. While aggressive trading on the big banks continue, resulting in total turnover volume of 723.79 million, exchanged in 5,752 transactions, the highest single-day record for the week. Our Friday session also saw the largest naira value of shares traded, a whopping 12.20 billion naira. But despite the heavy transaction volume on the big listed banks, the oil and gas sector posted the strongest index advance of 2.57%, followed by insurance up 1.25%. But profits booking on industrial heavy such as Dangote Cement and Cement Company of Northern Nigeria dragged by 1.73%. Looking at Friday's top trades, you can see Zenith Bank posting 147 million shares with UBA in second place and GT Bank in third. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Edidiong Ewang. Back to you, Kayode.
Thank you, Edidiong. On a global scale, major global markets ended Friday's session mostly lower amid increased tension over US-China trade negotiations, as well as slowing global economic growth. Well, let's take a look at some of the closing figures for the day. That's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Okikiolu.